Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial for Transport Tycoon with me, DragonNinja24, and today I want to talk about concrete and how it's being made, and also talk a little bit about my new faction that I created just for this manner. So as you can see, we have 5 main steps for making concrete, and this whole tutorial is going to be based around the faction, so I highly suggest joining my faction if you want to follow this tutorial properly. And the first step, we can start right with this, filter quarry rubble. This is gonna be the starting point at the quarry. You are gonna fill up your storage at the quarry first with the amount of quarry rubble you want. I suggest you use any calculator from the Discord or self-made calculator, doesn't really matter. And from the quarry itself, you want to drive to the filtering plant, filter your quarry rubble, and directly after that filter it into gravel, or like filter the gravel into sand. And once you're done, you store it back in the faction, and that's what I'm gonna show you right now. So as you can see, I have pre-collected the quarry rubble into the faction storage, so I save time picking that up right now. And if you're curious about the timer in the bottom left corner, this is a feature you can basically enable with some keybinds. It's really useful to time your runs. And you basically want to press escape and go into the settings, the general GTA settings, and then you want to go into your control settings, and there will be a tab called FIVEM, and inside of this FIVEM tab you can bind either the timer settings, and another little feature that I really like is you can bind a trunk key that automatically opens your trailer. And there is another way to do it by using the B menu, the B wheel, as you can see here. But I think the key is more convenient than the B menu. And also watch closely before I turn right here, because if you want to avoid damage doing these runs, you can avoid these little poles of the fence right here. And also on the way behind the hill, you can try the same and go through the poles first, and then turn around after that. And that's basically the run. So once you're done processing the quarry rubble into gravel and processing the gravel into sand, you want to head back to the faction and store all the products in the faction storage again. So there are different things that you're not gonna need later, like flint, emeralds and raw onyx are not needed for concrete itself. Raw onyx is needed in batteries, but you can basically transfer the raw onyx from your faction storage to the train yard, because that is needed in the foundry. But I won't get into that here. The flint basically can be sold directly at the Mackenzie exports, so you can drive from the faction to the exports. And the raw emeralds can also be stored on the train yard and then stored in and then sold at the emerald buyer. Yeah, but he will empty a geologic first, so we have some time. And so as you can see, we have 3 minutes 40 and we will probably arrive at 4 minutes. Okay. Not yet, not yet. Store. Okay, so let's time it here. So with the first step out of the way, let's have a look on our little sheet again. The second step is gonna be collecting the sawdust, and in order to do that, we want to go to the logging camp first, and from there you want to go to the sawmill next and make the sawdust itself, and from the sawmill you continue on to the Polito Bay train yard. That is the point where you want to store your sawdust. And once you've done that, the best way back to the logging camp is gonna be the highway, and the whole cycle will look like this. And that's what I'm gonna show you right now. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh. Oh, come on. I mean, come on. Would you please turn now? Yeah, sure thing. That's exactly how I would do this in real life, by the way. Okay. We wasted a whole lot of time here. 8 minutes. 8 minutes is tough. It really is tough to do. Also, I think the tune stopped. I'm gonna add in. Oh no. Okay. Well. No. I think we're faster. I just hope we are. If we're actually slower than the train, I'm dead. No, we are faster than the train. Not even a problem. Okay, once you reach the sawmill over here, you want to park. Go to the left here. And right before the lock, take a right turn so you can get out of your vehicle. And do this. Okay, let's process. Grind sawdust. No, 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 no. Don't punch. Come on. Five minutes. Oh. I have the fear that we're not able to finish this run. But it's possible in theory. In 5 minutes. Okay, if you drive on this route, you have to be careful of the sides, because if you're too fast and your trailer hits something, that would be bad for you. Okay, so turn left here. Excuse me, game. I turned left. Store all the sawdust like this. And now take basically the highway back. Just for the simple reason, if you encounter a train on the way back, you can imagine you have no way to go. So we're not gonna do that. And currently 5.5 minutes of the clock. Okay, so behind this bridge you're gonna turn left to use this like this way down. It's not really a way, but if you drive careful. And then you simply stick to the road and you will be led back to the wood, the logging camp. And hopefully we don't need a full 2 minutes to reach that. Should be able. Yeah, we should totally be able to do this. Yeah, well, and after that I guess I have to switch the server to do the water. But as you can see, we are like nearly at 7 minutes. We will finish somewhat 7:30 or so. Maybe a bit earlier. And remember, we wasted a lot of time during the time turning around at the start. So yeah, right now we have 7:12. So with the sawdust out of the way, let's have a look on our little guide again. And step 3 is gonna be collecting water. Now you have different options to do this, but I will only show one of the possible options. You can either collect water from the dam and use acid to make treated water, but that is a route I will not go into because it's a bit slower than the route we are using. The only downside to the route that we use is that you need the train yard. So for collecting water we will use the Liberty City route, and therefore we have different stops. The route itself is gonna start at the auto yard in the top right corner, and then the whole route can be done with the tunnel. And from the auto yard you will drive to the military facility, and the military facility, all the processing is one by one of each step, so you don't have to do anything other than just process. From the military you drive to the Cochrane Dam. That's not the dam I was talking about earlier. And from the dam you exchange your tokens at the Portland docks. And how this works is basically all the items have weight, but once you gain your tokens they are weightless. And this is the first part of making water, getting the tokens itself. And the second part of making water is right after that. You start from you basically have your tokens and you exchange them at the LCFD, and from there you want to access your train yard and store the actual water and repeat that cycle over and over again. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Let's try to connect this trailer again, maybe? I mean, we're still picking up, so let's not losing any time.
Okay, we're full. I think my best time for this one is like 7 minutes and 7:40 maybe. So everything below 8 minutes is pretty good. If you don't have any major crashes or stuff like that. Okay, 5 people on the server. Not bad. I actually think it wasn't a 740, it was a 840. Because we still have to sell now. And that run wasn't bad. From the time loss, it wasn't. Yeah. Might have been something like 8 minutes. We will start that right at the train yard.
Once you have received all of your Liberty City tokens, there's one important thing to note. Now you want to exchange these tokens into actual water. And in order to do that, you will need to first get all the tokens from your trailer into your inventory, and then fill the amount of tokens that you can exchange back into your trailer. For example, with an MK13, I would suggest you fill it up with 96 tokens before you drive to the point of picking it up again.
So let's... oh yeah, and the destination of course. So from here, we will drive to the LCFD. Basically just over the bridge. I have a pretty good route to this. So let's time it in 3, 2, 1, let's go. And the cycle will obviously end again in the train yard, where we just started. So from here you just want to find some way to the highway. And be careful with the AI cars, they're pretty fast. Turn right over here. Then just go straight to the next bridge. And go beneath the bridge then. That's the whole route, that's it. Like here, you go straight through. And you need to place the tokens inside your truck, because only if they are inside your truck, like not the truck, the trunk of your trailer, only then it's gonna start filling up.
Don't underestimate artificial intelligence, because it's getting better every day, and it's going to scare us. You know, I'm right at the right time of my system. Because I want to take a look now. This is all going on here. Let's go to the future. I saw a little bit in the Internet of Things to artificial intelligence as being spread out. It's not a central machine in a box where you can absorb artificial intelligence. There's networks like Internet of Things. Part of maybe a smart watch or a refrigerator or a supercomputer.
Oh my... Holy... That was kinda close. Okay, it looks like 3.5 minutes nearly. Because the steps we still have to do is store it all, go to the inventory.
with the water being done, let's move on to the next step, and this one is a fairly simple one because we can simply use the faction storage to create all the cement mix we want. Just one thing to note before I do that, currently all of our ingredients we farmed are in the train yard, and we want to transfer them to the quarry, and due to some faction setup changes, you will see an old scene of the faction which has changed by now. If you transfer stuff from the train yard to the faction, please use the platform above and not the platform that you see now in the video.
As much water as you can. Then you TP up. And then you can simply put it from your trailer into the storage, making cement mix. So 3, 2, 1 and let's go.
Alright, so now that we have the cement mix sorted, we can actually start making the concrete. I suggest that you grab a calculator right now so you can see the ratio you want to fill your trailer. For an MK13 it's around 215 cement mix and 43 water in a single trailer, and the route that we're gonna drive is exactly the same route as the quarry rubble. So you can basically skip this part if you're not interested in the details, because it's just the same as the first step we did.
Oh wow, I think I'm a genius. Yeah, did I actually just select quarry rubble? I'm such a genius. I think if I recall this correctly, we have to do 4 runs of this. And then, of course, the 4 selling runs themselves. 2:15.
So once you have created all the concrete you want and stored in the faction storage, you can spawn a trailer in between and move all the concrete to a train yard in order to sell it then. To actually sell the concrete now that you have stored in your train yard, you need to access it from the Mirror Park train yard and get the concrete out there. And selling is done at the Alta construction site over there. So that is the next route and the last route of this run that I'm gonna show you. I hope you enjoyed it so far.
And I'm really curious to see like the total time, and I'm very curious to calculate the concrete or the money per hour, because I want to know if it's still about those 40 mil per hour or not. And obviously in this whole tutorial you have to own several train yards. You can do it all without train yards. I'm sure you can figure out the rules yourself, but train yards just make it easier. It's just how it is. Okay, let's sell these bad boys. Money is going up again. Okay, halfway through. Also, let's just hope that I don't fuck up this jump here, because with the MK14 it's fairly easy, but with the MK13, however, it can fail. Oh, that was easy. But it's crazy that one single run of selling is almost 3 minutes long by itself. Okay, 3, 2, 1, time! Okay, 2